But let's move on to that NFC game. And we have, to me, I think this is going to be the best game of the weekend. The Cardinals and the Panthers. We talked about this game, I want to say it was a few weeks ago, in a podcast about this is the matchup everybody wanted to see in this game.
Yeah. I mean, this whole playoffs is no surprise. It's 1-2 versus 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. These are the two best teams in the NFC. Probably the two best teams in the NFL. Really, it's the four best teams in the NFL that get to play this weekend. And I'm not even saying that because they're the ones that's left. They're just literally the four best teams there. It's the Seattle Seahawks maybe could have made a case why they would be one of the four best, but they didn't win. They tried their damned hardest, but they couldn't get it done.
There's only, and I'm trying to think through all the past games we've had, there's only one game that it's like, okay, that score should have been the other way, and that was that Vikings-Seahawks game. However...
That's because you're a Vikings fan.
However, well, come on, he should have made that kick, let's be honest.
Not if the laces are facing him.
However, let's say the Vikings did win. There's, to me, Packers go to Carolina, they get killed. Panthers are still in the title game.
Yeah.
Vikings go to Arizona, I think the game still goes to overtime. I think there's a bigger chance than the Packers, but a small chance the Vikings win in overtime. However, more of a percentage that even if the Vikings won that game against Seattle, we're still looking at Carolina versus Arizona in the NFC title game.
That was a nice dream that you had right there, Ricky. I like that fantasy world, but no.
The only team that would challenge the Cardinals in last week's game would have been the Vikings because it was that rematch. We should have beat you in the regular season. We're going to beat you now kind of a thing.
Nope.
Disagree. They're the only team that had a chance to beat the Cardinals. And I know the Packers do what the Packers did. They should have lost in Detroit. Mm-hmm. Hail Mary win the game. Yeah. Should have lost in regulation. Hail Mary ties the game.
Don't let teams hang around. Yeah. That's a bad idea. So, I mean...
One stat I am going to throw out there, Aaron Rodgers, 0-7 in overtimes.
Good. Aaron Rodgers, when he's not winning games, I'm happy.
0-7 in overtimes, including playoffs.
Excellent. So when it comes to this game, I mean, this one, you're going to see some great defense. Now, Jared Allen not being out there is going to be pretty huge for the Carolina Panthers. He is leading the NFL in sacks, which makes me sad because he used to be on the Chicago Bears literally this year.
He used to be on the Vikings, too.
Yeah, but this season, he played on the Chicago Bears.
And he can get a Super Bowl.
And then he goes out there and will quite possibly win one. Even
three former Bears could get a Super Bowl if the Panthers win it.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera, Greg Olsen, and Jared Allen.
It'll be good stuff. It'll be good stuff for all those guys.
And isn't Peanut Tillman a Panther technically?
You know what? Yeah, he is. He is out there.
So, okay, 4.
He's out there
Four
playing.
of them.
So that's good. That's nice. I miss Greg Olsen. But, this one, defense is going to be great. But I really want to see these two underrated, Cam's not really underrated at the moment, but these two underrated coming into the season quarterbacks really go out there and show everybody who they are. Show everybody that they're the real deal. I think Cam Newton is, going to be the star of the NFL probably for the next decade. Mm-hmm. Especially if he's playing like he is, keep leading this team like it is. So this is that time for him to go out there and really prove it because people keep complaining that he's cocky. People keep complaining that he's not all that. So this is the time he goes out there, he wins a game on his own back and gets it done. I would love to see that out of Cam Newton. I would love to see the Panthers claw their way up into the Super Bowl. It's going to be tough to go against the Arizona Cardinals, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the one thing, this game is tough for me because I kind of feel like, do I want the Cardinals to win it? I'll be honest. Sorry, Brian, if you're going to see this as a kiss of death, but I kind of want the Cardinals to win. However, I feel as though the Panthers are going to win, and I say that because... I don't know who I'm going to pick yet. Don't ask me until our videos come out. But I feel like, and this is a broader thing, and I'm just going to say it now. I feel like the Super Bowl, we're going to get either one of two Super Bowls. We're either going to get what the entire East Coast, California, and Arkansas want, and Michigan, what those states want in Panthers Patriots, what we talked about when we were like undefeated Panthers, undefeated Patriots, who wins? Or we're going to get Cardinals Broncos. What everyone else wants to see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those are the 2 games out of the 4 that everybody wants to see. Those are the majority of states.
It's tough for me. I think I like the Cardinals. I really do. I think they're a great team. You know, when you look at the averages, it's so weird that Carolina is just a slightly better team.
Mm-hmm.
They score slightly more points. They give up slightly less points. You know, and literally the difference here
if the Panthers are
is
gonna,
about 0.9.
If the Panthers are going to win this weekend,
I'm sorry, 0.7.
it's going to come down to their defense. Because their defense is, to me, better than the Cardinals, only because there's some injuries to that Cardinal defense, one of them being the Honey Badger.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like with Jonathan Stewart being back, this team is at full or as close to full strength as they were at the beginning of the season. They've only lost 1 game. And let's be honest, that 1 game is to a team that got to see them a second time.
Yeah.
So no team on their first time seeing the Panthers have beaten them. That's a huge thing. That's a huge reason why, to me, they're Super Bowl favorites. Because the only team to beat them saw them a second time.
Yeah, they
and
had
got
that second
demolished
chance
by them in the first meeting. Now, the Cardinals, on the other hand, if they're going to win this game, Carson Palmer has to have the game of his life. Has to put the team on his back, because I know last week all the analysts, even myself, were saying, well, you got to get the run game going. You can't abandon the run. You can't, even today, they're like, the Cardinals can't abandon the run. You can't become one-dimensional or else you'll lose. However, Carson Palmer needs to have the game of his life if Arizona wants to win this game.
I really do believe that it comes down to which quarterback plays better. Yeah, Jonathan Stewart's going to do amazing things out there because he came back, man on a mission.
I just hope it's not 31-0 by halftime like it was with Seattle.
But that was kind of fun to watch, too. Seattle be like, man, this is what it felt like for the Broncos a couple years back.
It was one of those things I honestly this week didn't get. Every part of my football watching this week was through highlights. I didn't get to watch a single lick of football because
you're on the road.
Mark, as you knew, I traveled to the great state of Tennessee, got to travel through some great states as well, but I was visiting a friend in Tennessee who moved down there. He didn't have cable. He had Netflix and HBO Go. So that's all I got to watch.
NFL's not on either one of those things.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch my NFL this week. So I got to watch it all through highlights and through word of mouth. And basically I was watching games through Twitter. Mm-hmm. I almost said Tinder, but I was watching it through Twitter. That'd be weird watching football games through Tinder, but I was watching games through Twitter, just going on my tablet, pulling down, come on, refresh. And we were actually out for my birthday when the Panthers game was going on. We're at the zoo in Knoxville, and I'm like, oh, the game's going on right now. And I flip it on and I go, holy crap, it's 31-0. And me and Dave Oster, we just laughed.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's just funny for the Seahawks to be like, oh, man, this is what Peyton Manning felt like. As he just watched the Super Bowl Lombardi Trophy go past his face. I just find it funny that
most of the analysts and podcasts that I watched talking about that game were like, yeah, they were supposed to lose last week anyway, so why does it matter?
No, they won fair and square.
They were supposed to lose.
Teach your holder how to hold a football correctly.
Teach both of them. Get them both off the fucking team. I am with you, Mark. But to me, I feel like this game, Carolina's defense versus Carson Palmer, who wins? I know you said whichever quarterback, but if Carson Palmer can slice and dice or just even carve a little piece of this Panther defense out, they'll win.
Now, I will say the one thing that it'll be I don't want to say it's ironic necessarily, but what did we keep saying? If Carson Palmer is healthy, nothing stops the Cardinals. Wouldn't it just be a little poetic almost for...
If nothing stopped the Cardinals?
No, not necessarily that, but We were talking about injuries before.
If he gets
it's
injured.
Carson Palmer that goes down, and then they lose. Because this team, we've been saying it for the last 3 years, they ride and die with Carson Palmer.
You know what would be funny? You know what would be the only true poetic justice? Mm-hmm. If the Broncos and Cardinals both win.
And in backups?
In the first half, no. Carson Palmer and Peyton Manning win this week, stay healthy throughout the entire game. In the first half of the Super Bowl, both go down with injuries, and it becomes a backup game in the Super Bowl.
First quarter.
Yeah.
Just out.
It is now Brock Osweiler versus whoever the backup is.
Especially
in Arizona.
if it's like
Drew Stanton. Is he still the backup?
Possibly. the first drive, Peyton Manning's gone, and then that's okay because Brock Osweiler, he can compete, and then Carson Palmer comes out there, next one, boom, done.
And it's
Drew
a backup
Stanton,
game in the Super Bowl.
Have fun.
That would be terrible for ratings.
Everyone would be like, and we're done.
Everyone would be looking. Well, here's what would happen.
They'll tune back in for Beyonce.
No, here's what would happen. They'd watch the first half, Coldplay and Beyonce would go, and then click, I can turn it off.
Although a lot of people don't seem that excited about Coldplay. They're lucky they got Beyonce to come back.
Beyonce, it's like we already had Beyonce. Really?
People are excited about Beyonce when they compare it to Coldplay.
The last time Beyonce played with the Super Bowl, it was basically her bringing on her old Destiny Child friends to say, by the way, you're only up on the stage because I'm better than you.
Because I said you can't.
Just so you know, I'm better than you. That's
I've allowed
why you're
this
here.
to happen.
That's why you're here, because I'm better than you. That was Beyonce's last Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's true.
The last thing I want to ask you before we end up this podcast, out of the 4 matchups we could possibly see in the Super Bowl, Panthers, Patriots, Panthers, Broncos, Cardinals, Patriots, Cardinals, Broncos. Which one does Mark Weber want to see in 2 weeks? I
feel like I would have the most fun watching the Patriots versus the Panthers. Mm-hmm. I feel like that would be the most fun for me to watch. But part of my heart really wants the Denver Broncos to get in there so Peyton Manning's got his chance for his one last ride against the Carolina Panthers. So I would love to see that as well. Carolina Panthers, I want them in there. I've been clawing up hard since last year on this team. I want them to get in there. I don't care who they play. I just want them in.
Out of the 4 possible, there are only 2 games I want to see. And this all matters on who wins the AFC game, who I'll be rooting for in the NFC game. If the Patriots win, I'm going to be a Panther fan. Claw up, because I want to see Patriots-Panthers. If the Broncos win, I'm going to be part of the Bird Gang. Because I want the Cardinals to win.
Do they call themselves the Bird Gang?
Yes, they do.
Wow.
They do. It's the Bird Gang.
That's something.
I believe it's the Bird Gang.
That is something.
But those are the 2 I want. I either want what we talked about many weeks ago, Patriots, Panthers, the 2 best teams arguably in the NFL, going at each other, or I want to see Carson Palmer, who can he get his first Super against Peyton's last ride.
Yeah.
That's what that's the 2 that I want to see. I would lean more towards a Patriot Panther Super Bowl. That to me would be more exciting than the Cardinal Broncos. But that Cardinal Bronco would still be good.
I'm just ready to see the era of Cam Newton begin.
You know
that's what because the old guard, Peyton's going to be gone. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady, he says he's going to play till he's 70, but who knows? It's probably not going to be the case. He's probably got a few years left.
Even if he plays to 40, he's got 2 years left to 40.
Yeah, so there's not too much left. So the old guard is going out. Let's see a new star in Cam Newton really rise.
Mm-hmm. And the only reason, I will say this, the only reason why I don't want to see the other 2 matchups, if it is Cardinals-Patriots, the Patriots will wipe the floor with the Cardinals. Then they will say we beat 2 NFC West teams in the Super Bowl back-to-back. And if the Panthers play the Broncos, that Panther defense, that one may be the 3rd on the list because you can kind of sell Panthers D, Broncos D, but that Panthers D would wipe the floor with Peyton Manning. Would completely wipe the floor with Peyton Manning, and Cam Newton would be like, oh, this Bronco D has not faced anything like me before this year. And some of you may say, well, yeah, Ricky, they have, but I'm going to say no, they haven't played anything from Cam Newton. But is there anything in this matchup, Cardinals-Panthers, that you want to mention before we sign things off?
Let's see if Twitter gets upset about Cam Newton doing yet another thing. Twitter was really mad about Cam Newton playing with that sign that someone gave him.
Weren't they
It
mad?
was a flag, I think.
The 12th man flag, and he threw it.
Someone gave it to him. And then he threw it, and people were like, oh, my God.
Well, it's a 12th man flag. What do you expect?
Just let the kid enjoy himself.
Dab up, man. Dab up. But that's going to do it for the onside kick this week. Go ahead and let us know down below, as always, what you thought about anything we talked about in this week's podcast. You can go ahead and follow me on Twitter at Ricky Widmer. Mark is at the Mark Weber with 2 E's, most valuable pod. Yeah, I almost called you Brandon Swanson. I don't know why.
That guy's just, he doesn't have the E's.
Most valuable podcast is at most valuable pod. If you're listening to us on SoundCloud, go ahead, hit that follow button, that repost button, and that nice little heart. If you're on YouTube, go ahead, hit like and subscribe. Thank you guys for listening. But as always, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod for more great podcasts.